Directionally Challenged Hiker here on this Friday, August 11th, and I'm going to do a tent repair video, or I am going to attempt to repair my tent. This is my Big Agnes Wall UL2 mtnGLO tent. I took it out, over a year ago now, April of 2022, and it suffered some pretty serious damage near the confluence of the Little Colorado and the Colorado. We were checking out that Little Colorado River and it got really crazy windy, and I had it staked and rocks on the stakes, and it cut loose and it was flapping around in a tree when my friend and I got back to our campsite. So yeah, it has been cleaned and it has been packed up since then. I am a great procrastinator, but I'm finally going to attempt it today. And yes, it is set up in the living room, kind of a tight squeeze here, but it's 103 degrees outside, and yeah, so not happening outside. But I have picked up some Gear Aid sealant and adhesive. I'm going to attempt to use that. For the fly repair, there is some damage to the screen too. I'm still thinking about that one, so we'll figure that one out as we go along. And since it is a fairly substantial tear, I have my little pole bag that came with this tent, and I'm going to try to use this to kind of make a band-aid. So I'm gonna actually show you the damage, and then I will get set up to attempt this repair. All right, so here we have the fairly substantial tear in the fly. I'm going to put my hand next to it just for some perspective. Yeah, we were about 3 days in on our hike when this occurred and had 3 more nights to go, I think. So I used a gallon-sized freezer bag and some first aid tape and patched it up because we were having some rain. And as I'm talking about that, I'm going to move around here. We'll see if this shows up here. Going along the seam right here, there's mainly just some like little tiny tears, some scuff marks. I will be trying to deal with those too. And then let me take this fly off, as it has to come off for the repair, and I will show you what I did to the screen. All right, we are looking at that tear in the screen. Actually not too bad. I'm still trying to decide on exactly how to fix that one. In the past, I have just used tenacious tape, but I would prefer something that maybe is a little bit more flexible and not quite so ugly. But okay, I guess it's repair time. First step in this repair is to tape that tear. I'm trying really hard to line the edges up and smooth it out. As big as it was actually a fairly clean tear. There weren't lots of little flappers or anything, and the smaller tear was definitely much easier to tape. Got to smooth it out. Don't know why I'm trying to smooth it out on carpet, but I am. Now I am working on cutting that patch to the right size, and I am frustrating myself to no end. I have tried a pair of pinking shears and a pair of scissors, and using my ruler, marking it, and I can't cut a straight line for anything. So I will be getting up here in a minute, and I'm going to get a cutting board that is used for quilting. Awesome tool. It's got a grid on it. And instead of scissors, I'm going to grab a rotary cutting tool. So I lay that ruler down, roll that little rotary tool, and I have a nice cut. So there, put that cutting board underneath, and since, you know, an ultra lightweight backpacking tent is nice and sheer, I can see the grid through and can do a halfway decent job of lining that patch up, making sure I've got the tear covered because that's where I want the patch. And I did read the directions a little bit, as you probably saw. just didn't read all of them, but there, I'm trying to eyeball it, you know, look at the grid showing through and see where I need to apply the adhesive. And then as I, you know, smooth it out, I realize I need to bring it out farther towards the edges. And I do that, and I bring it out beyond the edges and on top of the patch and all over my fingers. I did apply the patches to the outside of the fly. As you will see in the upcoming footage, I chose to put the patch on the inside of the screened area of the tent body. I don't know why I did that, but I did. All right, so I ended up putting that on time lapse, and this may be an epic fail. It definitely doesn't look pretty. I didn't follow the directions and put rubber gloves on, so my fingers are all sticky. But if the patches stay on, it will definitely be waterproof, so I guess that is the plus. But yeah, quite messy. And I still have that little tear in the screen up there. And then I also have the kind of small tear, more like abrasion, along the one pole side of my fly. But the fly is going to have to be another day because I have a sticky mess here, and I think I have to take it to the bedroom and lay it on the bed, because if my cats get in it, it'll be really messy. So thinking about doing the tent. See you in a few maybe. First attempt at taping that tear in the screened body of the tent area. I got in the tent and was trying to tape it while the tent was set up. So I'm tearing the tent down here, and I think as I began smoothing it out, I realized that I didn't like that tape job, so I started over trying to make it blend together a little better and be as flat and as smooth as possible. I do have on the screened area, it is completely taped on the back side of it, and I put the patch on the inside, so the adhesive is on the outside of the tent, whereas the patch is on the inside. Again, pretty messy. There was one other tiny tear that I just filled in with sealant on this portion. All right, so we finished up with the screen. Again, it is not pretty, but it should keep the bugs out of the tent. And as for the fly, as long as it keeps the rain from coming in, it's all good to me. I will have to get back to dealing with the abrasions on the one edge of the fly, but not today because I have a sticky mess right now. But yeah, so until next time, Directionally Challenged Hiker here. Directionally Challenged Hiker here this Thursday, August 31st. Yep, last day of August 2023. Tomorrow's September. Well, here I am back at this tent repair. Again, this is the Big Agnes Tiger Wall 2, their mtnGLO, and yeah, it needed a little help after one of my backpacking adventures. So this is what I have done so far, and I know it's not pretty, but there was the substantial hole there, and my patch seems to have stuck. It does have a little bit of like air bubbles, but I don't think that sucker's coming off. So if it keeps the rain out and keeps a little bit of the heat in, I am satisfied. I will be working on today. Let me see if I can find it. We'll go over to this side here. I don't know how it'll show up on camera, but it got snagged along here. There's definitely a bunch of little holes and snags. I will be trying to do some patchwork on that today. We'll just toss that off to the side for a second. And this is the body of the tent that I had repaired. It had the hole here, so I put the little patch on the inside, and no, it was not screen, it was just a solid patch. it is what it is. I do have a little bit of an issue. A piece of tape is stuck. When I read the directions, it said that put tape on the opposite side so it doesn't stick to whatever you're setting it on. But that one piece of tape is stuck. I think it might eventually come off, but if it's stuck there, it's stuck there. So the tent body, as far as I can tell, is good to go. But yeah, need to do a little bit more work on that fly. And today I will be putting rubber gloves on. I did not do that when I started this video, and I was filing my fingernails a few days ago, and I'm like, what is that? I had the rubber sealant. It was stuck under my fingernails still. I mean, I don't know how many showers, how many times I've washed my hands. So if it sticks as well to this tent body and my fly as it did to underneath my fingernails, I think this repair is going to be a success. So we will finish up that repair right now, and yeah, so see you on time lapse. Back again to finish up those small tears and abrasions along the seam of the tent. I thought this was going to be much easier, and I ran into, there was one where I wanted the patch to go quite a ways, and then it had to go around. The flies have their setup. They have areas to hook up guy lines, and then also there's a little piece that I can roll my door and then put a little loop around it. So I was having some issues working around those. I don't exactly know how many different patches I used for this area. Again, I tried to use bigger ones where I could, but then there were a few where I just had to kind of, be creative. I did, for the most part, wear gloves today, and I'm wanting to say I still ended up with some adhesive on my hands because, I'd take the gloves off and I'd look at it and be like, no, that needs to be pressed down just a little bit more there. And as I mentioned earlier, I used the screw-on tip for the adhesive today. I did go out and I bought another tube of adhesive because I wasn't sure I was going to have enough. So I finished up that first tube, and yes, I did open the second tube. I used a lot of adhesive on this tent. I don't know if that's how it's supposed to go down, but yeah, there is an awful lot of adhesive on this tent. Again, I think those patches are going to stay put. I sure hope so. Probably added an ounce or so to my carry weight here, but we'll see how it does. All right, that is a wrap on the tent repair video here. I may have just created another sticky mess, but the work I did a couple weeks ago, after it had dried up, it was stuck where it needed to be stuck. Seems like it will hold up, only time will tell. So I guess as long as it's keeping the rain out and preventing the tent from tearing any further in these compromised areas, I consider it a success. You may or may not, so let me know. Should I have turned this over to the professionals, or nah, why not try and fix things on your own sometimes? So until next time, directionally challenged hiker here. Later.